Hello, everybody. We'll be getting into our live stream. Thanks for being um, patient with my schedule today. Like I said before, I am going out of town tomorrow through Tuesday. That isn't to say that I won't be in the Discord a little bit, and I'll still be in my trades and all that kind of stuff. But I won't be in my office where I do, all of our regular updates and come out with videos and stuff like that. So. When I get back Tuesday, starting Wednesday, again, I'll do a live stream, and that'll be a pretty big one because I'll go over, price action from the last week here and like whatever we had missed, right? And then moving forward after that, this is my last holiday for quite some time. So every week, Monday through Friday, we'll be back to our usual schedule. Market updates Monday, Wednesday, Friday, live stream on Wednesdays, and being fully active in the Discord, updating you guys and getting you guys trades that, over the last month here that I haven't provided. More of what I've been sharing with you guys have been high probability swing trades. We can get into some smaller trades as well. Um, it's a good time of the year, Q1 2023, to maybe start seeing some action here. Typically, after November, most traders honestly take off the rest of the year because well, you can see why. I mean, you've seen the charts yourselves, and it's pretty clear that there just isn't a lot going on. It's low volume, very much sideways price action. So I think we'll start to see a little bit more action here, especially through the rest of this week with some of the data coming out. So we'll start with BTC here. So we got a nice bounce off of this yellow zone here, and I never really considered this like a big bounce zone, right? And kind of what I mean by that is and you can see the order in which I put these triangles in is, I figured we go here, come up to here, take these highs, and then we get to our real target where, as you guys know, I'm looking to do a range low trap, right? It was kind of my original plan to come here, get a move up, and then swing the low here, which I will pull up our channel. You can see this is our sideways channel that we've been in here. The mid range is very well respected, which is actually where we are right now. And initially I was looking for this move up first, and then down, and then sideways here, and then come down, get people really bearish, thinking that we're going to go lower, hold the low, come back up at least to the mid range was kind of like the plan I was looking for. And you can see we can like cut off this part here, right? So if we just go ahead and hide this. I actually might have. Yeah, this was the other one I was looking for too, where if we had just continued down, I was going to look for a deviation of the range low. But I would actually prefer just to come down to the range low rather than a deviation at this point with current price action. So from here, yeah, like what I would be, given that we're at the mid range, we're coming up on FOMC meeting minutes. We have the employment data at the end of the week here. I don't think BTC is overextended yet. Here we can see that we hit our first pocket of liquidity here at about 16,850. We have another one at about 17,100, and that would take out these roughly equal highs here, which I would really like to see. So sideways into the end of the week, whatever might happen here, but to come up, grab that liquidity, I actually think that I did. Yeah, so this was kind of what I was looking for, and we got that first move up, we got the move down, and now I'm looking for this, next move up here, and then, kind of do a whiplash move that we typically do for these data releases and the FOMC meeting minutes and all that, and then get sort of a move down. So, yeah, if we just go to a kind of a lower time frame, you can see that that plan is playing out nicely. We did get the move up, we did get the move down. And now, we're just kind of looking for that whipsaw coming up here. Again, typically these data releases and all that, it's just ultimately it's liquidity grabs, right? So the next area of liquidity is up here. This plan is going well, so I don't see any reason not to stick to it. Ultimately, from here, like I said, to look for a grab higher, come back down, sideways range, and then ultimately, go lower before higher is what I would be looking for. But I do think that these highs are ripe for the taking. Um, so in the event that we do go past that, this would be my area here. In the event that we don't get that move up, um, in the event that we don't get the move up, my next area for liquidity is down here, so to take out these equal lows. If we did something like this, I don't know, it seems, I'm not going to look too much into that, but this, like I said, this would kind of be my next area of liquidity. And then after that would be, the deviation or the trap at the range lows. But in the meantime, yeah, I'm sort of planning on here. If we blow past that, we could go up here to this next area of liquidity. But um, if we do go down, I mean, I'm not really expecting too much. It's just look at this. Like we've been in this range for quite some time. I don't know. I'm just like I don't see a lot of reason to just all of a sudden drop or to pump or to do whatever. So until we kind of see a break out of this range, I guess what I'm saying is that why not just do this? You know, why not just keep doing it? That's what's been happening for quite some time here. And until we break out of it, I don't really see a reason to get overly excited. And for me, like this move up, this is a deviation of the range highs to sweep these highs here and then to, simply rotate to the bottom of the range, grab this liquidity, take out these lows, and then, just continue to do it over and over again, right? Until it decides to break out. So that's sort of what I'm looking at with BTC. Not a whole lot going on there, right? Ethereum, man, this was Ethereum has been also very boring in my opinion. I there were a couple different setups that we were looking at here. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, so this line's back into play here, which is really nice. Let's take a look at what else we got here. Yeah, so again, like I feel very similar about ETH as I do to BTC. That said, it does have like some degree of formation similar to LTC, like what we've been talking about, where we get this move up, we come down, and what should have probably gone a little bit lower didn't, and now we're up here to where, in my opinion, like these equal lows here are just like ripe for the taking. And we do have a nice area of liquidity here. We also have one lower down here. So we hit our first area of liquidity right here. To me, this was like a really big hot spot, and you can see when we hit it, we just pushed through, making forced buyers by liquidating the shorts that were here. We do have this H4 order block here. To me, ETH does not look good. I personally don't think Ethereum looks good here. If we kind of just like zoom in here, this chugging upwards slowly here. Yeah, we took out the lows, but all of the volume is up here and it's standing on stilts. And I don't see any reason that it can't simply drop like this down to this zone at about 1220. I don't see any reason as to why it can't do that. There's about 4.5 billion in positive delta up here. Mind you that Ethereum has a much lower market cap than BTC, and BTC at this point here has about 2.5, maybe about 2.3 billion in positive delta here. Meanwhile, Ethereum has 4.5 in here. So what does that mean for those of you who might not know? It's basically saying that there are a lot of longs built up in this area, right, where all their liquidation prices are down in here, all waiting to be taken. Okay. So typically when you get to areas of like extremely high delta like that, so we have 4.5 billion positive delta built up in here, right, from this move up, they typically signify, areas of exhaustion, right? So if we see price becoming exhausted up here, essentially standing on stilts, the moment that it decides to come down, well, it's just going to be a cascade liquidation event, right? Um, so when I looked at BTC, I'm like, yeah, I think we could get one more move up, and I definitely do. I don't think BTC is at a point of like exhaustion yet. I don't think that it has enough delta built up yet that where it's at a point where I would expect a reversal. That's not to say that it couldn't go down, right? But it's not at an area where I would expect a reversal. Now, meanwhile, Ethereum is. Ethereum most certainly is at a point where I would expect some degree of a reversal. That isn't to say I do have shorts laddered going up, to here up to about 1280, right? So in the event that we do get one more push up, say on some news or something like that, I am going to fill my shorts and I will then look lower. What's been really interesting about this entire move is we've seen a lot of altcoins pop off, while meanwhile BTC hasn't really done too much and is still stuck in a sideways range. That is never really a good sign, I think, in terms of like a healthy bullish move. Normally, what you would be looking for is for BTC to lead the move, and for then alts to follow, and that's not what we're seeing here, right? So I have laddered into shorts. I am looking lower, at least to the midline of our range here, down to this untapped weekly, and to take out these lows, essentially, right? For me, taking out all of these X's here is really, in my opinion, like what I'm looking for. And then from there to reevaluate. And again, we do, like I said, have a nice pocket of liquidity down here at about, 1160. So moving on from Ethereum to LTC, which has been like my most favorite coin. As you guys know, I've loved trading this coin. I've done quite a bit of analysis on LTC, so I'm not going to dive too much into this because we've talked about it a lot. Like I said, I think that all of these lows are ripe for the taking, especially down here in this zone, right? So like 64 to 66. But we do have some support at the 70 to 71 range here with an H6 order block. So yesterday when I did some analysis, where were we? We were in here, basically, right? We were somewhere in here, and I kind of said, I'm looking for one of a couple things. We either sideways and go down, or we get one more move up towards this monthly, and then we get our move down. Price got a push up, and we basically did a double top here. I'm typically not a fan of these. I'm not a fan of equal highs. So like for me, when I see this, I'm like, okay, well, these are going to get taken out at some point, right? Mentally, that's like my thought process is like, I wouldn't be surprised if we had one more liquidity grab to the upside to take both those out, and then we get a move down. That said, again, similarly to Ethereum, I think that we're at a point of exhaustion here. There's about 450 million at the peak, 550 million positive delta built up from this move up here. And just for reference, if I pull this up and I just show you guys the delta that we've seen here, the last two I've marked, I'm going to start marking these out more so I can share them with you guys. There was 320 million positive delta here that ultimately gave us this 8.5% move down, where then we had 285 negative delta, right? Which then gave us a reversal point for a 20% pump. And now we're at, we had 496 here, we had 550 million here, and now from this move down, we're still at around 450. So like, from let's just say like from the peak here, if we do get that 8.5%, like we did with the 320 million, then we're looking at our first target, which was 71.75, which is also where the H4 order block or the H6 order block is, right? Here, I'll go ahead and go back to the other chart here so you guys can see all that more clearly. If we get that, 8% move down from the high, we're basically, right sort of where we want to be, okay, with this order block. If we get a 20% move, I mean, you get the idea, right? It brings us down quite a bit. So far this is playing out really well, and I've said this in the Discord, I have opened up more shorts here. I have more limit shorts set up here that obviously did not get filled. But right now, I do like how this is playing out. It is getting is a little bit frustrating. It's just I really hope that we don't get stuck in like a multi-week range in here. I don't think that we will, but it would really suck if we just kind of did this same thing, for the rest of the week over the course of the weekend. I would really love if we could, break down out of this value area, back test it proper, and then, have a move down to our H6 order block like we've been looking for, right? We can get our take profit one out of the way. And then from there, maybe we put in some degree of a range, get a move up, or, whatever. We'll just have to reevaluate. I would say that this is our first area of key support, and I would think that we would put in some degree of a range here before either getting a small move up or simply continuing, to the downside. Moving on from that, taking a look at Matic. This was really nice. I think my trade is up like 300 and almost 400%, I think, at the max, right? Because I laddered in at 0.75, so that was pretty much right at the bottom there. I was expecting lower again, like right here. I was hoping to come down a little bit I had more longs put in here. But that wasn't the case. We front ran the order block a little bit and we got our move up, and again, like with this one, I wouldn't be surprised if we got just a little bit more of a move up. It doesn't feel to me like it's at a total point of exhaustion yet. Like I would consider shorting it, but I'm just, there are higher probability ones for me, like Ethereum and LTC right now, that I would prefer to be in shorts for. That said, I do think that these lows here are, up for grabs for sure, in the future here. Let's take a look at Matic quickly. Just want to see what our... Yeah. Oh, yeah. 200. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. It's at a pretty good point here. Let's look at the funding rates on Matic. Yeah, positive funding rates on Binance, OKX, Bybit. Yeah, largely positive with the outside of CoinEx, Gate, and DYDX, which are very small exchanges, right? So the sort of the bigger names are all positive. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm largely in ETH and Matic, but I mean, this doesn't look bad for me either. I think that we're at a point where, we could be seeing some degree of exhaustion. Let's take a look here. Not really any bearish divergence. Yeah, we do have some on the 4-hour between here and here. So that is a nice sign, right, if you're looking for shorts. I guess for me, I would have to do a little bit of a deeper dive into it. Could we get a reversal from here? Absolutely. Could we get one more push up and take out this high? Sure. Again, like I had said previously, I have not traded or done enough analysis on Matic yet to know at what point it has great signs of exhaustion. And the reason why I've had any, the reason why I've been hesitant is because of how volatile this asset is. I mean, it's an just incredibly volatile asset. So I do want to kind of get a feel for it before I start, eagerly longing into large positions. That said, like I was saying, I do think that there could be some degree of a reversal here, given the rest of the market as is. Um, However, if this was like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that wouldn't surprise me either, and then we could get our move down. So something to keep an eye on. If you do trade Matic very often and some of this sort of aligns with your analysis, then feel free to take the trade. FTM, I took profits on this way too early. Like I said in some of my other analysis, I looked at all of these highs that had not been taken out, and all the meanwhile, we've been taking out low after low after low. And I opened up a long at about 20. Let's see here. At about right here. And I closed it because I wanted to be conservative here. I have some of it open still, but I closed a large portion of it here. And I'm really, obviously, I kind of wish I hadn't have, right? So this has been a really interesting point on FTM for a very long time. First of all, I want to point out that we are in a massive falling wedge. All right, so this is a bullish formation, and at some point, I do think that we'll see it play out, probably in 2023. So in the next, let's say, 6 months. Again, this area here has been really interesting. So this is our sideways range, and we can see that we broke down out of our sideways range here, had a deviation. I remember we took this trade, we longed here, took profit here. This was an awesome trade. Took 3 days to play out. Opened up shorts, traded those down. I personally closed mine here. And we went much lower, right? I actually didn't expect that we would deviate the range again, and we did that. And we reclaimed it again and are now, deviating it again. We're really chopping up this line here that was once really, really well respected. And here we are at it again. So, going down on a lower time frame, I'm like, I don't know, let's see where FTM is at. About 100 million. I think the last time I traded off 100 million on FTM, I got beat pretty bad. That was when I was longing, and I longed in here, and we got a move down to here like this. I think it jumped up to like some 200 million negative delta or something like that. So seeing how much this area has gotten chopped up here, again, I guess I'm not like overly eager to be opening up shorts here, especially where the delta's at. Now, if we get back up to this trend line, I might reconsider. And then, simply look to trade it back down to, really this zone here, if we get it. It would be really cool to see, I don't know, something like this, and then, to come back down in here and to either basically give us a sign that this falling wedge is going to be playing out soon, or just simply getting back to the bottom here. I think it's a little aggressive right now to assume that that's the case, but we'll just have to kind of wait and see. Again, I would have to do a little bit more of a deep dive and analysis on this, and I'm not going to do that today, just to save us some time, so I can go over a new coin that that was requested to do some analysis on today. So I think that's it. Yeah, LTC. Gosh, I just really trying to find some patience with this one. It's just so frustrating seeing this. Like, I can't imagine who the hell is longing here, you know, in defending like this level. But I just, yeah, I'm truthfully, I can't really wrap my head around why anybody would long this zone. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And, you know, could you get a trade out of it? Sure, yeah. Like, you know, maybe you do long here and you long it up to this monthly. But, ugh, yeah, I think the RR is much better on a short position. Just kills me to see people long this, especially I think even more so on Ethereum. I mean, it's just, yeah, I just can't imagine why people would. And again, look at this, largely positive delta here, right? Or I'm sorry, funding rates, positive funding rates. It's the same for LTC. LTC is sort of, you know, more towards the negative side a little bit here. Okay, let's see. I do have the chat open, so if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to start diving into LDO, which has been very volatile lately. So I know there's been some requests on it. All right, so with that said, I'm going to put on some music here. And like I said, if you guys have questions, just feel free to ask. See if I can find this here. Where did I put it? Just gonna skip the ads here and we'll get going. All right. Yeah, so honestly, like right off the bat, without doing a whole lot of analysis on this thing, I mean, we marked out our levels and we looked at everything, but just right away, first thing I see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unless this is all three and we're gonna do a 4 for a 5, which I could see as also being equally as likely. With that said, wave 5s are typically associated with bearish divergence, which we have. We do have it on this chart, right? So being that we're coming off of this trend line here, we're hitting it pretty spot on. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a slight bearish divergence on a 4-hour time frame. Like, to me, that when I see that, I'm like, yeah, this looks like a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we could probably expect some degree of a retracement. That said, if we do get a move down, I think that this is a pretty cheap area to stop this pump. I wouldn't be surprised if we, went more towards like this zone here where we have this daily, weekly, high time frame point of control, or at the very least, like getting this here, which is the 618, right? We're front running the 618 here. So, pending what we see with, BTC and Ethereum, especially Ethereum, right? Because that's been a huge driver of alts here. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw one more move up. But I think with where we're at right now, I think the RR is fair for shorts, like to start shorting this zone here and have ladders through the 618 up to the 66 here. So like this area here, for at the very least, coming down to like, 1.3, for some degree of a scalp, right? Or otherwise, back testing this value area high at about 1.25, right? But yeah, just right off the bat for me, like this, it looks, I don't think that there's, yeah, on a daily time frame, this looks more like a wave 3 to me. Yeah, on a daily time frame, this looks more like this would be 1, 2, 3, and then, we'll see a 4, like maybe back down to here, and then we'll come up for a 5 into this kind of higher zone that I would, like I said, that I would more prefer to short. But like on lower time frames, yeah, I don't I don't see any reason for it to just like start continuing to rage pump here. Let's take a look at. Oh, holy shit! Super, 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 super negative funding rates. Very, 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 very negative funding rates. Um, yeah, so seeing those negative funding rates, it makes me feel more. I'm more on the side that this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where a lot of those shorters would end up getting wrecked, like on a subsequent continuation of the upside. I don't think it would be that high. I don't think it would look like that. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 in here. For then a deeper correction down at the very least, I would say like probably to the point of control or something like that. And that's really, again, that sort of, it's pending what Ethereum and everything else wants to do, but I do feel like where I feel like a larger move down is looming around the corner for alts. Um, that's not to say like new lows, but just, kind of like what we're looking at with LTC and Ethereum. We're looking at some lower targets here, and I think getting that kind of a move down would also give us this move down, at the very least to like this zone here on LDO. But right now, I mean, looking at this simply based on charts, we have some bearish divergence. We're at some degree of resistance. We're front running the 618, which is also kind of nice, right? Because people might be expecting to go a little bit higher. I think that this is like a fair zone for some degree of a short. Let's take a look at this once. Oh yeah, maybe yeah. So for sure, like 1.3, I would definitely be taking profits on a short here. The one thing I do not like, again, is just the negative funding rates. They're way 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 too negative. So, pending what happens with everything else, I think that, maybe a little bit more sideways consolidation. We get this move down to like 1.3, maybe a little bit lower, but I would definitely be taking profit there. And then, consolidation, then, get that move up to the weekly here. I think based on how heavily this is being shorted right now, that move up, this sort of wave 5, people coming down here and everyone's like, yeah, I'm going to short this thing to the ground, we're going to retrace this whole deal. And instead we bounce off of this value area high and we get that move up to here. I think it would really mess up a lot of people. So yeah, for me, that's just doing some brief analysis. I mean, it's standing out to me so much that like I can't, I certainly I could ignore it. I do think that we're in for a move down from here. And I would say at the very least that it's going to be to around here. you know, somewhere in this zone is where I would be taking profits. 1.306 to, you know, 1.235. Let's see what kind of a move down that is, just out of curiosity. 10, yeah, it's a pretty big move down, to be honest with you. And then from there, you know, from there, we're going to make a decision. You know, we're going to wait for more information, and we're going to ask ourselves, okay, which count is more correct? Is this a 1, 2, 3, 4 to that zone we were talking about? Then we'll get this one up, which I do like. I like this scenario. Or is this actually the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're simply going to get, you know, some degree of a retracement, probably a little bit lower than the targets we had talked about, you know, maybe more towards the $1 zone here, right? But yeah, I mean, this is the same story of as FTM, right? We had this move down, we had a low taken out here, and what had happened is we ultimately took out all of these highs, squeezed up, and now we're sort of at this first area of resistance, you know, where price is starting to lag behind, right? It's starting to look exhausted. Yeah, so for me, I think that the RR here on shorts, not bad. Definitely write it down to like the 1.3 zone, maybe 1.235, kind of that area. And then from there, like I said, we'll reevaluate if we're going to get that second move up and then the larger move down, or if we simply start losing levels, you know, then yeah, this was it, and we'll look lower. Does anybody have any questions on that? All right, cool. Well, I will wrap this up. I will have this video up right away. That's the beauty of doing this on YouTube, is that it's just already uploaded. And then I'll be sure to share some charts in a little bit here, kind of going over what we reviewed. But yeah, I this is standing out to me so much that I don't see anything more to really cover. This zone really looks interesting to me. And like I said, as I look on a daily, this definitely looks like a wave 3. Like we're going to see a move down here, some consolidation, and then our wave 4, or our wave 5 higher is kind of what that it's starting to look like to me now as I see it on this daily level here, right? It makes more sense to say that this is a 1, 2, 3, maybe we'll, you know, get kind of some degree of a 4, and then 5 up here before then our larger retracement. All right, cool. Well, I will be in the Discord on and off for the rest of the day here. We do have the FOMC meeting minutes coming out in about an hour. So do expect some volatility, and then also with the data release throughout the rest of the week. So trade safe. Be sure you have your stop losses set. And I will, I'll just see you guys in the Discord. Bye.